ArrayLists behind the scenes. In this video, we're going to answer the important question of how are ArrayLists able to shrink and grow? Because in the previous video, we discussed how arrays are incapable of doing such a thing, but an ArrayList can. And how is that? And the reason I ask that is because currently, we only know how to use an ArrayList as a client. And what I mean by that is, we know how to use the ArrayList class and its methods, but we don't know how any of it works. And in this video, we're going to find out how. First off, what happens whenever we create an ArrayList object? Well, just like any other class, an ArrayList class contains instance variables. And each time an ArrayList gets instantiated, so do its instance variables. And one of those instance variables is an actual array object. So yes, even though an ArrayList is itself not an array, it does use an array object to store its values. Now, how large is that array? For this video, we'll just say size 5. In actuality, it could be 10, it could be 15, could be 100. Doesn't really matter. The size that it starts out with will not change the procedure for how array lists operate. So just to keep things simple, we'll just say each time you create an array list, it starts out with an array of size 5. And when we do that, we say that the initial capacity of the array list is 5. We don't say that the size is equal to 5. The size right now is 0 because we have not added any numbers to the array list. But the current capacity of the array list is 5 right now because that's how many values it has the ability to store at the moment. So let's say after creating this array list, I call nums.add 21. Since the size is currently 0, 21 will get stored in position 0. Then I call nums.add 32. 32 will then get stored in position 1. Then I call nums.add 5. 5 will get stored in position 2. Right? Then I call nums.add 103 and nums.add 78, and those two values will get stored in the array. Now we're at full capacity, and here's where things begin to get interesting. Next, I call nums.add 60. This is the sixth value I'm attempting to add to the array list. However, my array only has a length of 5, and as mentioned in previous videos, I can't grow this array. I can't increase its size. So what will the array list do? What it'll do is it'll create a new array twice the size of the original. So now the capacity of the array list will be 10. It'll then copy all the values from the old array to this new array. It'll then set its instance variable reference equal to this new array, thus effectively getting rid of the old original array. After it has done all of that, then it'll store 60 in the next position. So that's how the add operation works for the array list. Each time you add a value, that value will simply get stored in the array until it reaches the full capacity, which in that case, the array list will create a new array twice the size of the original or of the previous array, doubling the capacity, copy the values from the old array to the new one, then add the previous value. This is why I said in the beginning that the capacity we start out with won't matter because whether you start out with size 5 or size 15, it doesn't change the process. Now, suppose I want to remove a value from the array list. Suppose I want to remove the value at position 2 from the array list. Again, as mentioned in the previous video, just as I cannot grow an array, I also cannot shrink it. So, how will we get rid of the value at position 2? What the array list will do is it'll take the value at position 3 and copy it to position 2. It'll then take the value at position 4 and copy it to position 3. It'll then take the value at position 5 and copy it to position 4. Then lastly, it'll decrease the size instance variable by 1, thus completing the remove operation. Now you might be wondering, what about that extra 60 on the end? Shouldn't we get rid of that value as well? Well, we don't need to, because when we decrease the size variable by 1, that effectively takes that last value out of the picture, because the array list will never allow you to operate on a position that's greater than or equal to the size.